Hello, my friends. Assalamu alaikum. The author of the book, The Grand Scheme of God in the Light of Quran, asked ChatGPT a question. So here is the inquiry. He writes, ChatGPT, here is what Quran says about creation of the bodies of Adam and Eve on this earth. As explained earlier in the first unit, that is, the observable universe, out of the 7 heavens and earths, there is only one place where life is possible, and that is our planet Earth. Life started on this earth millions of years ago, but the perfect bodies or carriers for our test have been evolved over a period of time. From Australopithecus to Homo habilis to Homo erectus to Homo neanderthalensis to Homo sapiens sapien, that is, the modern man. The first pair of all these races was created directly from soil, contrary to the dictates of the theory of evolution, and then normal reproduction process started. Similarly, bodies of Adam and Eve were created directly from soil on this earth, again contrary to the postulates of the theory of evolution. In the early stages of creation of these bodies, that is, male and female, two actual persons, that is, spiritual beings, who were in state of slumber in that permanent world, were brought to life after being attached with the hearts of these newly created bodies. The male and female bodies are two carriers given to the actual persons, that is, spiritual beings, for their test in this temporary world. After attaching the spiritual beings to the physical bodies, God Almighty blew a divine spark, that is, spirit, ruh, or conscience, from His own into the bodies for further guidance of the spiritual beings. This divine spark or conscience acts as an alarm and rebukes the persons, that is, spiritual beings, over their bad deeds. Now, 3 aspects of human being. Number 1, the actual personality, that is, soul. This is a spiritual being which is a non-matter, complete personality or entity. This was created in the permanent word. The Quran terms this spiritual being as nafs. These personalities or nufus were put to slumber after the covenant with God in the permanent word. This is referred to in chapter 7, verse 172 of Quran. These nufus are brought from that order of existence and attached to the hearts of the physical bodies in the womb of the mothers after around 120 days from conception. Moral concepts, aesthetical concepts, and mathematical concepts relate to this actual personality, that is, spiritual being. But we should always keep in mind that our test is confined to the moral concepts only. We are not under test with regards to the other 2 concepts, that is, aesthetical concepts and mathematical concepts. Number 2, that is, body. This body is also a creation of God and is provided to the actual personality as a carrier for a limited time to use and not to misuse. The body acts on the principle of survival of the self and survival of the species, just like other animals. For the survival of the self, the human being eats, drinks, and makes shelter. For the survival of the species, the male and female act instinctively, that is, mate and procreate. The term nafs ammara in the Quran refers to this sexual instinct. Number 3, ruh, also known as spirit. This is the spirit or divine spark of God, which could be termed as conscience. The Quran describes it as nafs lawama. It is attached with the body, that is carrier, for further guidance of the actual personality. The function of the spirit or divine spark or the conscience is to rebuke the actual personality, that is, spiritual being, on the commission of bad deeds. This is termed as trust or al-amana at the end of Surah Al-Ahzab. The actual personality, that is soul, is the driver of the body, and its basic test is to keep the body, that is carrier, within certain limits for a specified period, that is, until the biological death of the physical body, while ruh is the spirit of God. In Christianity, these three aspects of a human being are more clearly described as body, soul, and spirit. Here, it is important to reiterate that the instincts relate to the physical body, that is carrier, whereas attributes or concepts relate to the rider, that is the actual personality we call soul. Now the relevant verses of the Holy Quran. The first verse is from chapter 71, verses 17 and 18. And God has caused you to grow from earth as a growth, and afterward He makes you return thereto, and He will bring you forth again from it without difficulty. Second verse is from chapter 6, verse 2. He it is who has created you from clay, and then has decreed a stated term for you to die, and there is with Him another determined term for you to be resurrected, yet you doubt in the resurrection. Third verse is from chapter 37, verses 11 and 12. Just ask their opinion. Are they the more difficult to create, or the other beings we have created? Certainly, we did create them from sticky clay, but you wonder at their denial, and they mock at the idea of hereafter. The next verse is from chapter 15, verses 24 to 26. We know those of you who went ahead, and we know those who remained late. Surely, your Lord will gather all of them together. Indeed, He is all-wise, all-knowing. Indeed, we created man from a wringing clay made of decayed mud. The next verse is from chapter 55, verse 14. He has created man from dry clay, wringing like pottery. The next verse is from chapter 20, verse 55. From this dust we created you, and in this we shall put you back, and from this we shall raise you up once again. The next verse is from chapter 22, verses 5 to 7. O mankind, if you are in doubt about resurrection, then recall that we created you from dust, then from a drop of semen, then from a clot, then from a piece of flesh, either shaped or unshaped, so that we manifest our power to you. We retain in the wombs whatever we will to a specified term. Then we bring you out as babies. Then we nourish you so that you reach your maturity. And among you there is one who dies, and among you there is one who is carried to the worst part of the age, so that he knows nothing even after having knowledge. And you see the land dry. Then once we send down water on it, it stirs and swells and puts forth every pleasant pair of vegetation. That is because Allah is the truth, and that He gives life to the dead, and that He is powerful to do everything, and that the hour of doom has to come, in which there is no doubt, and that Allah will raise again all those in the graves. The next verse is from chapter 23, verses 12 to 16. We have created man from an extract of clay. Then we made him a sperm drop in a firm resting place. Then we turned the sperm drop into a clot. Then we turned the clot into a fetus lump. Then we turned the fetus lump into bones. Then we clothed the bones with flesh. Thereafter we developed it into another creature. So glorious is God, the best of the creators. Then after all this, you are to die. Then you are to be raised again on the day of judgment. The next verse is from chapter 15, verses 27 to 29. And the jinn race we had created before from the fire of a scorching wind. Recall when your Lord said to the angels, I am going to create a human being from a wringing clay made of decayed mud. When I form him perfect and blow in him my spirit, then you must fall down before him in prostration. We will continue this in the next part on the same subject. Thank you.